Welcome Pakt coffee kit owners. You probably recently received your kit and you're anxious to start brewing coffee with it. In other videos we've shown you guys how to brew. We thought it would be helpful to share some tips and tricks that we've learned that will make it easier for you to get up and running with your kit. Let's start by saying there's no right or wrong way to unpack your kit or use your kit. But there are some things that work better that we found. So we're gonna share some of those. To start, when you're gonna unzip your case, there's this bump on the outside, which is where the spout is on your kettle. Start by placing that facing down before you unzip it. When you do, everything stays in place when you flip the lid open. Next, we're gonna take the kettle and stuff out. What you do not wanna do is just grab the kettle. Everyone's instinct is just to grab the kettle and pull it. When you do, you get that. And your dripper might go flying, might land on the floor of your Airbnb. Who knows what's been on that floor. It's best to avoid it. So what works better when you're taking the kettle out of the kit is to grab the filter dripper and the kettle at the same time and lift them out in one fell swoop. There you go. Now we're going to unpack the power base. Simply grab the base and the cable that's rolled up in here. Take that out. Grab one end of the power cord here and give it a quick straighten. It'll make your life a little easier when you're going to plug it in. That's ready to go. Now we're going to unpack all the components out of the kettle, which is one of the most fun parts because there's a lot of stuff packed into this kettle. We're going to start by setting the dripper aside. Open up the kettle. You're going to see this little tab sticking out. We'll call that the magic tab because it's a useful little tab. Grab that tab and out comes your mug. Pop the lid off your mug. Use the same tab and you're going to pull out your grounds container just like that. Set your mug down. Now take your the filter dripper and you're just going to line up. You're going to see three little tabs in there. You're going to line those up with the slots and twist it to lock it in place. Set that on your mug and you're ready to go. This is the point where we usually fill the kettle with water. Fill that up, set it to boil, and now you can use the time while your water heats up to get everything else ready. Take your case. On the inside of the lid of the case, you're going to see a pocket. Grab the little tab on the end of that. It'll pop open, and inside of there, you should find your reusable metal filter. You can take the filter and pop it open, straighten it a little bit, especially if it's the first time you're using it. Once you've used it a few times, it'll kind of hold its form. But you're gonna pop that open, set that in the dripper. Next, inside in the bottom of the case, you're gonna find the scooper. So if it's your first time using it, there's no grounds in the grounds container. But once you've filled it, you've got your scooper in your grounds container, and you can fill your filter with the appropriate amount of coffee. As soon as your kettle finishes boiling the water, you are ready to go. Now that you're ready to brew, before we go any further, we need to hear a quick safety message from our friend Dennis.
Hello, Dennis here with some safety instructions. Number one, after heating your water, please grip the kettle from the sides and not from the spout. Tss, hot. Number two, never fill past the top line of the kettle. Number three, never submerge your kettle or base in liquid. Number four, don't put any of your components in the dishwasher. For more safety instructions, please go to paktcoffee.com. And now, back to Malcolm.
So you've just used your kit for the first time. Now you're ready to pack it up. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. We're just going to share some things that work for us and might make your life a little bit easier. To start, we're going to pretend that this is all cleaned up. Just wipe them down to make sure they're all dry before you put them in the case. And now we're going to put everything back into the kettle. So we've got a clean, dry kettle. We're going to start with the mug. Take the mug. You're going to put your grounds container inside the mug. We're going to put the mug lid on. We're going to use the tab here to lower this into the kettle without dropping it in. Little trick here. You'll see the tab sticking up. When you place the lid onto the kettle, just slide across that tab to push that down. What you're doing is essentially folding the tab down with the lid. We're going to take the filter dripper, twist that the opposite way to collapse it, set it on top of there. At this point, we're going to set these aside. We're going to put the coffee filter and the scooper into the case. So remember, in the lid of the case here, there's a pocket which you can flip open. Take your reusable filter, slide that in, and snap that back down. One place that people get confused is this strap in here. It looks like a strap. It's actually just meant to retain your spoon. You never need to flip this open. It's not for holding your kettle into place. Just leave this strap facing down where it is and just slide your spoon under that. Okay? Make sure it's slid all the way down to the bottom of this recess here. And now we're going to take our power base. We're going to put everything into the case now. This is one place that people stumble a little bit and struggle with it. So I'm going to show you the easiest way. What we found is easiest is to take your kettle with all the components in it, your filter dripper on top of it, and your power base, and we're going to put all of these together. So you got everything in one right here. Do not worry about the cable yet. We're just going to leave the cable hanging out on top of the table, countertop, wherever you might be. And we're going to set this in. We're going to take point the spout down into the recess in the case. And we're going to point that straight into there and lower everything into the case at once. So you see that it's all seated in there. The spout is nicely seated in there. And now, with that in, now we're going to take the power cord and we're just going to wrap it up. I grab it here near the base and I wrap the cord loosely around my hand like this. Once it's all coiled up, now we can just tuck this underneath the elastic strap. And it's all in there neatly. You're ready to close it up. Close it up. Zip it up, and you're ready to pack it up and head to your next adventure.